so today's topic is... Alright, I like them light-skinned. Is it a preference or a problem?
Yo, preference for a
problem.
A problem.
I think it's a problem.
Okay, light-skinned girl.
Hey, why is it a problem?
Well, first of all, like I have friends who are very dark-skinned.
Yeah.
And they don't feel pretty enough just because they're not light. So I think that it's a colonial tool used to make you feel inadequate.
Yeah.
So to make all Africans feel inferior, they made white. Then
Don't you guys ever feel as though that guys also perpetuate that, because it's always like a, oh no, even if when people are at the club or whatever, there's a squad of girls, niggas rape people like, the dark skin one, yeah, she maybe, but that light skin girl, oh yeah, I'm gonna go for that one. Like,
no, I have a different opinion. I think it's a preference. Like, some people prefer dark-skinned girls, some people prefer light-skinned girls. I mean, it shouldn't be a problem.
But as much as it is a preference, it does come from some sort of background, and unfortunately, in our history as black people, we were taught and groomed to respect and also admire anything that's close to white. Yeah. So the fairer she is, the more straight her nose is, we're for it. But the darker she is, the more blacker the berry. Unfortunately, the juice is not so sweet.
I'm sorry, I agree with that, Sipho. I think it's preference at the end of the day, because it's still black people at the end of the day. It's not like you're going outside of the race, so that's what we're speaking about. So if I like light-skinned girls, I like light-skinned girls.
I mean, I get that, but I feel like just reality and just in society, like black girls, I mean, dark-skinned girls are generally like put on a lower standard. Like even on social media, people appreciate girls who are those dark-skinned girls who are oiled up and they be looking sexy. But in real life, like people don't do that. I feel like it's more than it's a problem, in my opinion.
And I think it's okay.
I agree with Kefilwe.
Yeah.
When it comes to like whiteness used as a standard or a measure of beauty and everything.
Yeah.
But specifically to this, I think it's a preference. I don't think it's that.
Okay.
It's not that deep.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's all social conditioning, guys. Okay, let's pretend with the whole Barbie doll scenario. If we walk into ShopRite, you see those Barbie dolls with blonde hair. Yes, we buy those dolls for girls, but boys look at them. When they're like, mommy, I want a car, they're looking at all the dolls like, what are these? And you don't know that when you were a little kid, those dolls were teaching you that is the form of beauty that you conform to. So you might think it's a preference when in fact it's just social conditioning.
I think it's a preference as well, because like I still find dark-skinned girls that are like pretty, but my preference mainly is like lighter girls and stuff.
Nice.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But
Why?
also, wait, but
No, I mean, I really want to ask the guys, like, why do you, first of all, what do you...
yeah, I'm about to answer
Yeah,
that actually,
yeah.
that's what you're asking. But I do realize that it's influenced, their preference is influenced by everything that I see.
Yes.
I mean, for example, one of the biggest influencers of any like movement is like music for me, like I think personally. And you watch music videos and you hear the lyrics, they're all out here like, yeah, man, no bone. I mean,
skin, big booty.
you know, that's as a thing that's like upheld, like wow, okay, I'll put Mtano yellow. Why, if it was any other girl, why couldn't it be any other girl sitting next to that guy? See, but they had to say specifically Mtano yellow. So I think those kind of things do sort of influence the preference as well.
Yes.
Regardless of whether it's a preference, I will still see it as like, yo, but I think yellow bones. I didn't even try to find it, like, yo, she's hot because she's yellow kind of vibe. But yeah, that's
But I also think, there's a difference in terms of the standards. I mean, we all equate people in terms of their physical. So for a light-skinned girl, she's pretty. All she needs is the color. But when you're dark-skinned, do you have an ass?
She's pretty for a
Do you have titties?
Yeah. People always say that.
What else is going on with you? Because clearly your complexion has now degraded you on the scale, For me personally, Cash, I don't know if you relate, but growing up in the colored community, I'm a dark-skinned colored woman. So it's always been a thing of you're not enough. Me, my parents, my mom is real light-skinned, my sister's real light-skinned, so I'm literally the one with the complexion in the family. And it's always been a thing of your family is so beautiful, they're so light. What happened to you? So from early,
that's a problem. That's a very big problem.
So for me from young, I was like, oh, okay. So the melanin has now made me less than as a female.
Yeah, like
you know what you're just saying now. It reminds me of back in the high school days, right? Back in the school days, me, my friends and I, and other guys, you know, we're looking at girls. And then when we see a light-skinned girl, okay, when you look at a dark-skinned girl, you're trying to look at all the things that make her pretty. Look at her eyes, as you had just said. And then on the other side of the spectrum, when you're looking at a light-skinned girl, now you're looking at flaws. You're looking about, where's it off? Hence the phase sponsored by complexion. If you guys have ever heard it before.
No. Like never. Like what is this?
So, like it's become a thing of in addition to the thing of social conditioning that now yellow bone is there, it's the standard, and everything that's below that needs just a little bit extra to complete the body, you know. Oh, I can go in so deep to so much because there's so many things.
I know that,
you know,
we had a different way of saying it. You said sponsored by complexion. That I guess we used to say, thank God I'm yellow. Yo! There was something that's like so people, he's right, guys would look at it, of course the yellow bone's already like the highest point for us. It's like, okay, now she's up there, what's wrong with her to bring it down? Like, so you're like, no, Donna Osha, she doesn't have a nice body.
But do you guys see how that could be a problem, Nkay? It's not a matter of preference anymore. I feel like it's a problem.
Like, it's been itching me. You know? I actually think the one can't exist without the other. It's both of them. The preference creates the problem. Because once we in an environment where people are now preferring lighter skinned girls, then those who are not preferred create situation like now people start to go to the doctor to get bleached. You know, those type of things. So now, like, because now there's preference, then those people who are not chosen.
May I please rephrase your statement? It's the problem that creates the preference.
Nah. It's the other way.
I agree.
Once you start,
I think it's the problem.
Once there's a chosen one, once there's a chosen one, those who are not chosen had it wish to be.
That's true, because think about it, in the sense that, you know, generally with human beings, there's trends that happen. Maybe in the 90s, people like the stick, skinny, twiggy looking girls. Nowadays, they're about the hourglass, it's about the booty. Everyone is trying to enlarge their ass because that's the preferred choice now. That's why it's becoming a problem. People are just.
But then I have a thing with. I have a thing. If you now gonna look at other people and say, okay, no, she's pretty, I want to be light, I want to be. Then you don't love yourself the way you are. Then why then should it be a problem because somebody prefers something?
The reason why I say that the problem creates the preference is because you guys, we all in consensus that the problem is that people have been conditioned that adhering to whiteness is what is gold. That's it.
Which one happens first?
That is the one that happens first.
The problem.
Because if you had to go back in the days before colonialism, I don't think such things existed. If they did, I have no knowledge of them. I would like to believe that they didn't. If you go back and you look at how people in rural areas live, I'd like to believe that it didn't happen. Post-colonialism, you look at westernized communities like we have, people who aspire to whiteness, indirectly so, but we aspire to what the white lifestyle is. That is what we have been conditioned to what beauty is. The problem came, and then the preference changed, and then it became what is now.
My issue is just that I agree with that whole problem statement, but then do we not then now marginalize a group of people? Like, how do we deal with the problem now? Because now if we're saying, no, you can't have a preference of light-skinned girls, are we now not putting light-skinned girls at the bottom of the table instead of equalizing?
No, but then, okay, I need to...
Because then there's the same thing as people like, no, people want dark girls now also. As a political stance, what I'm saying is that if we do that, are we not now, we're not fixing the problem, we're just
creating another
substituting the problem.
No, but the thing is, okay, I get where you're coming from, but I think that there's nothing wrong with having a preference. Everyone has a preference in life. But I think it's the reason behind the preference. So if I were to ask you guys one by one, what's your preference and why? Do you get what I'm trying to say? So, Besh, what is your preference?
My preference is genuinely not aesthetically based.
Okay.
I genuinely cannot.
No, to answer your question,
a woman's perspective about whether it's a problem or a preference in terms of the men.
You know the thing is,
it's a preference.
I'm gonna put my opinion out there because I just like chocolate mint. Like if you have a beer.
Why do you like chocolate mint?
I will tell you why now, because the thing is I feel like most of the time preferences are influenced by your previous experiences. So I've dated light-skinned guys before. Most of my exes are light-skinned people, and most of the time the light-skinned people were like pretty boys, and I feel like the light-skinned guys that I've dated, it's always been a situation of I'm doing you a favor because everyone wants me. Like he's so overconfident. So based on the mere fact of that, like I don't gravitate towards you anymore because you feel like you're doing me a favor because I'm so pretty. Like I can get whichever girl that I want. Most of the time, the dark-skinned guys I've dated, we have appreciated each other more as opposed to this is who I am, whatever. You get what I'm coming? Okay.
That's beautiful.
Do you not think though that it's the very same how it was with guys and girls?
Yes.
Because look at what you've just said. You said that most of your exes are yellow bone.
Yeah.
There's something that made you like yellow bones, and then an act by yellow bones made you change your preference. You see. So it was a condition that you felt yourself that made you change your preference to what is now. And look at it when you admire dark-skinned guys. I can never be admired. Yes, I'm tall. I'd like to believe that I'm good looking. However, I like a beard. I like muscles. I don't. Why?
I was curious.
Anyway, yeah. So like I like the aesthetic that society is looking for, much like men are looking for with dark-skinned girls, with them being all dark, sexy bodies, bikinis and whatnot. So it's the very same thing. It's nothing special about it.
I mean, I do get where you're coming from, and I understand the reason why, because obviously I've grown now, and previously when I used to date light-skinned guys, I thought that's what it is, it's better or whatever. But I think it's just in terms of, like I say, experiences growing up, like the same way where I had a problem with, if it was summer and my skin got dark, I'd freak out. Oh my god, I'm not too light. No, honestly, I had a problem with getting dark. I didn't appreciate the fact that I'm black. Like, this is who I am, I have melanin in my skin. Even the way I'm growing up, my mom would be like, why are you relaxing your hair? Like, why do you want scruffy hair? It's the same way. I feel like, it's the way you've been conditioned, like growing up. So now it's like, I date whoever. I appreciate dark-skinned people more because how could I put it? Yeah, I've had a better experience and I've seen things, but growing up back then.
But Kefilwe, honestly speaking, I think you must be careful of getting yourself lost in the propaganda.
Yeah.
In that just because that person is a specific way, now you're equating it to the color of their skin.
No, I'm not saying that.
At the end of those days, you dated those guys and they were cocky because they are cocky. Whether they were light skin or dark skin.
Like, it's a matter of majority. Like, I'm not generalizing light skin people to be whatever. Like, I've been with light-skinned people that are just normal, I guess. Yeah. What I'm saying is that I'm not generalizing, it's a matter of majority, what I've seen, the experiences that I've had, majority of them, that's what led me to that conclusion.
Okay, coming back to the majority argument, according to society, majority of light-skinned girls are hoes and full of shit. Do you think it's okay for you, as a light-skinned woman, to be painted with that brush?
I don't think that's a general thing.
I don't know that, and I don't think it's a thing.
No, I get you. My point in saying that is just because that's the status quo and that's the majority of what's going on, and somehow that's the majority of the type of people that you have met.
Sure.
Don't limit yourself by putting a skin color on it. At the end of the day, that was the type of person that they were. You understand?
Judging by the character, not by the skin.
That's
it. But like as a guy, I don't think there was a time where I was concerned with my complexion as well. And yeah, it's weird.
And you're so pretty.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a time I was concerned about my skin tone as well. I was like, shucks, maybe I'm a bit too dark. Because I thought, like, of course, that's what, because I have friends that were like yellow bones, like, and I'd see, this guy is slaying. How is he doing this? And I realized sometimes he didn't even need to put in as much effort as I did for him. This dude would just
Say
Guys,
hey.
I've seen the show out. This dude I walked into a club with this guy, and he didn't even say anything to this girl. He just was like,
Pennies dropped.
literally, and then that's, and she
This
was
is
like,
disrespectful. How are you calling something like
bruh,
this?
that's what I thought. I'm like, how disrespectful is that? But she's looking at what he looks like I'm going there anyways. No words were shared between them and they're already making up. So I'm like, I'm seeing such things. And I'm like, maybe, that's why I started to think maybe it's his complexion. Maybe there's something there, kind of vibe. Maybe it's a preference as well in society that I didn't know about. But
I just feel like with guys, it has always been like a money thing. There's never been like, I feel like that's how I feel. Yeah, because I feel like niggas that ball always get girls. That's the standard, regardless of how they look. If the nigga pulls up nice in the club,
lifestyles.
it gets
that's true.
It's never like a spin.
But when you equalize the playing field,
Yeah.
like if we both got the same amount of money and he's light
Of
skinned,
course.
So
Yeah.
you see,
The guy said you guys are dark skinned, so judging from his experience, like have you ever felt like, okay, being dark skinned, I could have been lighter, yes, the girls, whatever.
I always feel like I don't know.
Really? It's always the man. Not a light skinned man.
that's the truth. I kind of did, but it wasn't around women though. That wasn't the issue. The issue was that growing up, like around the gents, it would be a situation of, hey, Mchana, you're getting dark, eh? Because especially okay, I was a chubby kid, right?
Yeah.
Then I got into sports, right? When I got into sports, I got a lot darker. But then also, I lost a lot of weight. So then it was also a situation of, hey, dog, you're getting dark. But I'm also looking better. So it was all a situation of the gents imposing that internalized self-hate onto each other.
No, I have to agree with that. I've never seen it. I've also experienced that because I remember one time, same situation. I used to be chubby, extremely chubby, and then I started playing sports and I got into gym, and then when your complexion goes down, I mean, you play a sport like basketball out there in the sun, you get darker. Then I remember one time coming back to school, and then my friends are like, yo, no, what happened? It's winter and you already got dark. And it was a whole thing, bro. And of course, such things, guys are different. Those guys are all like men, we all fight like manly and shit like that. So, but there's still a certain thing that others do get more touched than others. Like I'd say I'm more sensitive than the next guy, for example. So when you tell me something like that, I'm like, shucks. Maybe I now get conscious of it. Like, okay, maybe I have gone dark. I need to do something about this. So those kind of little things that guys do amongst each other, like you say, it's within the gents as well. And the way we like, there's this self-hate thing that's going on, and they'll make you feel it as well. It's like, oh,
I'm fine.
Why must you come here and do that to me?
But can I say, for some females, and this is not my view at all, I know some females specifically go after a lighter skinned man for procreation purposes. In the sense that it's not even that, in the sense that they're so afraid of having a dark-skinned daughter because they wouldn't know how to raise her, bring her up in a society that has already put her below everyone else.
I've had a friend like that also, who like growing up, he would only go after white girls. Like, but bro, why are you going for white girls? Like, bro, think about my kids. They're gonna be so beautiful. So he told us that we're being selfish by only thinking about ourselves, by wanting black girls. We're not thinking about procreation. So it's that internalized self-hate, I agree.
So then you're dating somebody because of their skin color, like you're not even thinking of their heart, like because you're light. Actually, my baby might be good.
I've also heard that before, like where they're like, no, I want my baby to be pretty, so I'm going after a light-skinned person so that they can look out. Like,
but these beauty standards, they need to stop. I think after like what everyone has said, it is clear that these standards need to stop.
On that note, can I ask the terms, yellow bone, dark chocolate, don, those ones?
Yeah.
Are they now derogatory terms, or are they still complimentary, or must they not be used? Because now the way things are happening is that a yellow bone, by the mere fact being called a yellow bone, feels very attacked, which is really not the case, because dark chocolate, and by the way, it's very reciprocal. It applies to both guys and girls as well. So in usage of those terms, when are they now derogatory? Must we stop using them? Will you feel offended if someone calls you a yellow bone or don? Because are they beauty standards that you speak of?
I think that, personally for me, it never really bothered me until later on because some people with the term yellow bone, they have a certain perception behind the kind of person that, yeah, is a yellow bone. So I've been in situations where, by the mere fact that I'm light skinned, people think I'm dumb. Like some guys would literally not think about it this way. Like you're just pretty, you don't even need to say much, you know what I mean? So guys would be like, oh, you know, push me, whatever. I'm busy talking about it, you're like, okay, so do you wanna? And I'm like, did you hear what I said? Just like, no, just sit there, look pretty. It's the same when people are like, you know, trophy wife brides. Like you don't need to say much, just sit there, you know, whatever. So I think because of that kind of perception around it, I actually don't like being called that. Just normal.
I think for as long as we place like a lot of, I don't know, for as long as we place like a high standard on like attraction and you know, placing materialistic features and you know, being attracted to someone because of that, that preference will always be attached.
But I don't know, problematic.
I think in terms of the term itself, it really depends on the meaning you give behind it. Because, I mean, let's look at the term nigger. Back in the day, to say the word nigger, hey, you would have got your head chopped off because it carried so much weight on it. But now the term is used so interchangeably, especially in South Africa. It's like, oh, my nigger. You know, that means friend, it means guy, it means dude. We've literally changed the meaning behind it. So as long as we continue to associate the term yellow bone with negative, then it will remain negative.
I don't know, but has it always been like used as a negative, in a negative way?
Is it a negative?
I mean, it's used
yeah,
like some people use it positively, some people use it negatively.
I think the only issue here is the ripple effect it has, because it perpetuates a certain beauty standard. Yeah. Not necessarily that when you say it, when I'm saying it to Nkay, I'm saying it to you, I'm saying you're beautiful and everything. But what am I saying about the other girls? I think that's where the problem lies. So I don't know if the intention was to compliment someone and at the same time saying with someone they're not beautiful, or was it just to like strictly compliment someone?
But then on that, the reason why I didn't just say yellow bone and added for my dark chocolates as well is because the social media rush is now based on the dark-skinned girl.
Sure.
So the term dark chocolate now holds weight,
yeah.
much like the yellow bone weight holds value. Now, are their values the same?
I think they are the same.
Yeah.
Because I mean, dark chocolate could be used in a negative way or in a positive way. Like a person could say, no, you're dark chocolate, meaning that like, listen, you're pretty, you know, you look very nice, dark and everything. Or there could be like a dark chocolate, oh, where you know you're unevenly dark. You know, those type of things. I mean, it depends on how a person uses it. So I do think they carry the same weight. I don't think they should be used at all. I mean, call me by my name if I have a name. Like, why do I have to say yellow bone, dark chocolate? But I do think the values are the same.
So going back to the question, I like them light skin. Is it a preference or problem? Each one. Preference or problem?
It's a problem.
That's a problem.
I think it's a preference. Preference for me.
Can I ask, I think even before you rate whether it's a preference or a problem, whether you guys think it's a problem or not, I think we all have preferences.
Yeah.
So let's not be philosophical about this or go too deep. Can I ask, what's your preference? What do you like?
What do I like?
Do you like a chocolate or a light skin?
Well, I think it's a problem. And when it comes to my preference, but I think after all this conversation, I don't trust my preferences anymore. Like, but I'll say it nevertheless.
Yeah.
But after this, I will evaluate myself.
Yeah.
Sure.
But as cash, I prefer black men, dark skin, black men.
Personally, I think it's a preference. This is gonna be a problem. I prefer light black skin girls.
Okay.
It's fine.
Damn. Okay.
We'll change it well.
I think it's a problem. However, apart from yellow bone or whatever, I actually prefer broken girls.
What?
Wait, whoa, Cash said that after this we're gonna reevaluate. But we must be honest first.
Yeah.
So based on my past
Like we called Zaddy.
no.
No, based on your past.
It's a matter of wanting to be Superman.
Okay.
I think it's a problem, and my preference, I'm gonna go reevaluate. My preference is dark skin guys, but I think mainly for me it's height because I'm a tall girl, so I can't deal with short niggas.
Yes, 1.92.
So I think, yeah, but I think if I were to have an ideal, probably a guy with tall, dark chocolate guy with a beard. That's me.
Okay. For me, it's a preference. Yeah, I think it's a preference. And to be honest, if you look at my track record, it's mixed. It's never just yellow balls. It's everywhere. So there's dark skin girls, man. So I think I look at the heart more than anything else. Like, of course, other things as a guy's of team, they're like, is she actually like good looking? But more than anything, I look at the heart. I prefer someone I can be happy and talk to and go crazy with than sitting with someone who's like extremely beautiful, whatever, but there's no connection here. Yeah. No, I look at the heart. That's me.
Preach.
Looking at law, okay. So for me, I genuinely think it's a preference. However, I will acknowledge that it is rooted in a problematic history. I think that has to be acknowledged. For me, I don't care as long as you got muscles. I'm ready.
Oh.
Okay, for me it's a preference. You like what you like, there's some things. Personally for me, I don't think I had a preference in terms of light-skinned or dark-skinned, because I just like intelligence. Honestly, I'm attracted to intelligence. But looking at my track history, most of those people have been dark-skinned. So maybe I prefer dark-skinned niggas. Maybe.
I think it's a preference.
I need to hear this.
No, I genuinely think it's a preference. You like what you like. Although personally, I tend more towards dark girls, just because I don't know. Dark girls are beautiful, but so are light-skinned girls. But I think I just tend more towards that.
Attraction vibes.
Yeah. So, but then also, if I look at my track record, it's been pretty balanced, so it hasn't been a particular side. But I know if there were two girls, I'll probably go for the more dark-skinned girl. But yeah, it's just a preference.
I still personally think that it's a problem.
Thank you.
It's a problem because of how it's perpetuated in society, which then influences people's preferences, which leads back to my point that it's the problem that influences the preference. So it's a problem. My personal preference is I am drawn to your energy. Genuinely, guys.
Energy.
Dog, if there's a thing and
There's
me,
a
I'm like,
vibe.
and the vibe is saying, and the vibe is just saying, let's go for this thing, I go, regardless of aesthetic.
Because
so beautiful.
Vibes don't lie.
Vibes don't lie. I like that. Vibes don't lie.
Shakira should edit her song. Yes, guys.
Okay. All right. Nice.
I think we're good.
Yeah.